Hi friends, my name is Allie Chambers. I'm a wedding photographer here in the Nashville area, and today we are talking about how to grow a photography business. Hi friends, welcome. If you are new here, like I said, my name is Allie. I'm a photographer here in the Nashville, Tennessee area. And today we are talking about the basics of what it looks like to grow a photography business. We've talked about a lot of the different ways to grow as a second shooter, to get into weddings, but for a lot of people that maybe have photography as a side hustle or something that they like to do for fun, and they're really wanting to transition that business into a profession or something that they can do a little bit more seriously. Today we're going to be talking about the different ways that you can transition your business from more of a side gig to potentially your full-time job. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Let's talk about equipment. For beginner and intermediate photographers that are really looking to grow their business, I know that there's a lot of push to making sure that you want to have the best and the most professional grade equipment possible. I like to encourage a lot of people to not really concern themselves so much with that whenever it comes to growing your business. Try to keep your overhead low and try to keep your setup simple. Rent your gear. You don't need to go out and purchase a ton of brand new equipment or the latest and best of the photography gear. If you take a professional photographer and someone with real talent and put them behind any type of camera, whether it's an iPhone, a really cheap camera, you're going to notice that they can still create art behind anything. The camera is more of just a vehicle in the way that we create our art, but as for the equipment, don't get so wrapped up in having the best of the best equipment. For example, there's a photographer that shoots portraits. I'm going to put their name right here so you can look into their work. They just shoot portraits on train with an iPhone. And yes, they have lens adapters for their iPhones and they do a lot of amazing editing, but they're not using these $6,000 cameras. They've kept their setup really simple and they're really focused on storytelling and documenting the lives of people. So if you're feeling a little discouraged or you're feeling a little overwhelmed by not feeling like you have the perfect equipment, everyone starts from somewhere. I know that personally for me, I started on a Canon Rebel whenever I was really starting to experiment with photography, and I was focusing on compositions of images, and then eventually I was able to upgrade my systems. But I think that whenever it comes to really establishing a core grounding beginning start for photography, it's really important to be thinking of, can I shoot this in manual? How can I manipulate all of the different elements on my camera to create beautiful compositions? All of these elements are what create really talented photographers rather than just the camera. Yes, there's an element of once you do get to a certain point within your business that you want to keep upgrading and you want to stay relevant with having the right equipment. When you're first getting started and you're not charging a ton, rent your equipment. Lens Rentals is an equipment rental place that I use. It's based out of Tennessee. If you're wanting to try renting for the first time, you can get $25 off your first rental if you use the code in the details below. But that's a really great way to figure out what gear you're liking, especially if you can't front the cost of new equipment just yet in your business. Now let's talk about developing a portfolio. There's a lot of people that are under the belief system that you need to really define your niche and define what you want to be doing within photography. And there's a lot of people that say you can be kind of an all-in-one photographer, that you can do a ton of everything and bring your talents to different fields. Personally, I love changing it up in photography. So I don't like to discount myself as just being one specific photographer, but whenever it comes to my business, I definitely specialize in two things, which is weddings and branding. When you're first getting started, you really want to make sure that you're defining what you want your expertise to be so that your portfolio can reflect that. If you're really wanting to define yourself as a family photographer, it's going to be a lot more powerful when someone goes to your website and sees a ton of family portraits rather than seeing the fact that you can do a little bit of everything. It's going to create a lot of trust in your potential client that you know what you're doing and that you have a lot of experience in it. And then once you get comfortable, you can test out all different areas of photography. When I first got started, it took me a little while to figure out what exactly I wanted to do, and I tried a little bit of everything. But when I found weddings and I started to realize that I really loved doing weddings, I decided I'm going to run with this and I'm going to shoot a lot of this so that I can have a portfolio so that when someone comes to my website, they know that I do weddings. For a long time, my portfolio and my website had all the different types of photography that I had done, but it wasn't things that I was really wanting to book. Really diving into weddings, going to styled shoots, shooting as much as I could, second shooting, all of these different things were things that I was really focused on so that I could make sure that that was something that I was really tracking ahead with. If you don't know what you like just yet, that's completely completely okay. Like I said, you can try a bunch of different things because you have to have a starting place. Once you find something that you're really enjoying and that you find yourself really feeling passionate about and that clients keep coming back to you for, maybe run with that. It's extremely important to have a place where you can display your portfolio. Whether that is the image delivery system that you use, Facebook, Instagram, a website, no matter where you're going to put it, make sure that you do have a collection where someone can see the work that you've done. I know that places like PIC-TIME and PIC-TIME, I personally use PIC-TIME. I've used PIC-TIME for the last couple of years and I've really loved it. They do have systems where they can offer a place for you to have it as somewhat of a website. If you're already paying for one of these systems to deliver your photos to your clients, it's a really interesting way to be able to incorporate both of those things where you can have all the photos collected in one space. So you could try something like PIC-TIME. If you want to test out PIC-TIME, I have a link below in the details where you can try it. Like I said, I've really enjoyed it. I've really loved it. It's been great for me. And it is a really beautiful spot where if you do want to use that as a place where you can display your portfolio, there's amazing settings within PIC-TIME where you can kind of explore seeing what it looks like to have it as your image delivery system, but also as a place for your portfolio as well. Now, the thing that is really hard to think about and the thing that can sometimes be hard to talk about when it comes to growing your photography business is, how do I make money? You know, I'm starting this business. I don't have a lot of people that know that I'm doing photography yet. I haven't really built a clientele base and I need money. I've had multiple different ways that I have made income throughout my photography business and it's varied over the years. My biggest recommendation is really taking the time to search for a need in your area. And here's the reason why I say this. When I first got started in photography, I didn't have a huge clientele base. I had people that I had photographed before through college and different areas throughout life where I was very much a hobbyist, but I loved taking photos. But as for it translating to people paying me to book their shoots because I didn't feel like I had a huge portfolio and I didn't have the best of the best equipment, once I started to upgrade that equipment, I really wanted to keep making more money. One, to be able to pay for my bills and to be able to make an income, but also I wanted to make sure that I was able to have money so that I could keep acquiring new things. I could keep paying for education, I could keep paying for new equipment and really keep growing my business. There was one day that I sat down and I really thought about it and I'm like, how can I create two different areas in my life to come together, to see a need and to also find a way to keep practicing photography and making money while I'm doing it. Like I said, I live in Nashville. I remembered seeing in different cities that there were Airbnb experiences and a lot of people would do photo walking tours. Now, if you've ever been to Nashville, you'll notice that there are a ton of murals in the Nashville area. This is when Instagram was at its biggest point. People would come to Nashville and they'd want to take all these really cute photos to be able to share from their weekend that they had here. Being from the area and being local to Nashville, I thought it'd be really cool if we could make these look really professional. Airbnb at the time didn't have experiences that they offered in Nashville, and I sent them an email and just asked, you know, do you ever have any plans of bringing experiences to Nashville? And they responded saying, you know, it's really funny that you say that. We're launching experiences next month. This is something that you're interested in. We'd love to set you up a profile and we'll list you on the website and you can go through all the training of what we like to have in our experiences. So I listed my experience. I didn't charge a whole lot for my photo walking tours, but I knew where all the spots were because I was from here, and I created a little walking tour area that brought all of my clients through some of the prettiest places. And then I did a really quick turnaround time so that they could share images on their Instagram, on their, you know, whatever social media they wanted to from their fun weekend in Nashville. While this wasn't my big financial break, it gave me a huge network of people and it gave me a lot of experience working with people. I had people from all over the world that I was working with. I had all different types of people that I was working with, and I had different types of posing needs that really stretched my ability to work with people. I worked with couples, individuals, solo travelers, large groups, you name it. I've probably photographed it on a walking tour. It was a really good way to keep working and also keep learning. Now, that is very specific to me, and I know that that may not be a situation that you can make happen in your city, but my point in saying that is really search for areas in which you feel like there's a need so that you can really get some experience, you can get out there, start interacting with people, and the more that you do it, the better you are going to get at it. I noticed a huge difference in my confidence behind the camera, my confidence posing people and working with people and just talking to people in general. A huge difference from the time that I started those Airbnb tours to the time that I finished. And it just really made me an overall better photographer. This will also get you a lot of experience shooting in manual. If you have been the person to shoot in automatic, there is a point when you are getting into professional photography where you really need to learn shooting in your manual settings. And the more that you shoot, the better you are going to get at it. Keep trying new things. Your first thing that you figure out is not going to be your best thing. I cannot tell you how many trial and errors I had in the beginning of my photography and all the trial and errors that I'm experiencing now. But the more that you practice, the better you're gonna get. If you're within the wedding world, another great way to make money on the side is second shooting and associate shooting. And if you haven't done either of those things, then assisting a photographer. If you are wanting to get into the wedding world, you can check out my other videos talking about how to become a second shooter and how to be a great second shooter if that's something that you're interested in. But it's a really great way to get paid while you're working and also get a lot of experience at the same time. When you are growing your photography business, it is so important to invest in education. If you don't have a lot of investing power and you don't have a lot of resources to be able to financially invest in your education, you need to be putting all of your time and energy to finding the free webinars, the free resources out there. There are a lot of photographers and a lot of really incredible people that are going to have a lot of advice from their years of experience in photography that are willing to share it with you, either provide free resources or they do have paid resources. There are different levels of action that you can take whenever it comes to investing in your education. You can attend workshops, whether they're virtual or in person. You can also do mentorships that are long-term or short-term. And if you're within the wedding world, you can also attend styled shoots. It's a really great way to see different ways that people approach shooting, interacting with clients, and also a great way to network. Which brings me to my next point, community. There are a lot of different Facebook groups out there that you can join. It's a really great way to stay connected with your local community and communities that are a lot larger. It's a great way to get referrals. It's a great way to connect with people. And the more that you network and connect, the stronger your business is going to develop. They'll sometimes offer meetups and headshot swaps. It's a really great way to learn from people who have been in this business from a lot longer, to see issues that they're running into, see successes that they're having in their business. And it's overall just a great way to feel connected to other photographers in your area or abroad. My other recommendation is to shoot as much as you possibly can. The more that you practice and the more that you work toward really getting comfortable behind the camera, the better your business is going to take off. If you're not in a place where you can afford to just shoot for free and you really need to be making money while you're shooting, a really great way to get to grow your clientele base and also to let people get to know how you shoot and how you operate is to offer mini sessions. This will get you growing an audience and it'll also allow people to shoot with you and then give you recommendations so that your base just keeps growing and growing and growing. It's also a lot less intimidating if you're starting off to only offer a few minutes of shooting rather than to fully dive in and offer a full hour session. If you are nervous about posing for that long and having to engage with people for that long, it's a really great way to slowly grow your endurance of working with people and also expanding your shot list. In the comments below, I would love to know where you're at with your photography journey. I'd love to know where you're at, where you came from, and where you're planning on going. Everyone's journey is so different, and if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about my journey and how I got to the point where I'm at, I can definitely make a separate video just talking about my personal journey through photography, but I'd love to know more about yours. If you're looking for mentorship in photography, whether you're in the Tennessee area or you are somewhere else, I offer both in-person and virtual mentorships. You can look at all of that information at the link below in my website to learn a little bit more about the different mentorship options that I offer people. Thank you all for watching this video. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't, I'd love for you to subscribe and stick along so that you don't miss what's coming next. As always, I wish you the best of luck in your photography business. Stay connected, stay passionate, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks, friends. Bye.